Dear students, the topic for today's discussion is Union Legislature, that is the lawmaking body. The paper name is Indian Government and Politics. It is relevant for semester 4 honors student. So we'll be studying about the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Together, both these constitute the Union Legislature. So we'll be dealing about how many members do they have, what are the functions they perform, and what is the position of each individually. To begin with, this is the image of our Indian now, India has adopted the parliamentary form of government from the British Parliament, the term Westminster model. So, Westminster is the name of the place where the parliament is situated. So, it is the British Parliament is popularly known as the Westminster model. So, we have heard about the concept of sovereignty of parliament in case of Great Britain, but in case of India, the parliament, it is sovereign, means it has the power to make laws. It is powerful in its own way, but in a limited capacity. So these are some of the factors. So we have a written constitution, and the parliament has to function keeping this written constitution in mind. So the parliament cannot make laws that are unconstitutional. Secondly, we have a federal system of government. Now, what does the term federal means? It means that the powers are divided between the union, that is the center, and all the respective states. So if India has 29 states, all of them have their own powers, and at the union level, where we have our union parliament, it has its own power. So there is a division of powers. And the concept of judicial review, where the judiciary always acts as a guard. It checks whether the parliament is not crossing the jurisdiction while framing any law. In case the parliament is making any law that is not in the spirit of the constitution, it can declare it as null and void, means it can cancel or it can negate those bills. And then we have fundamental rights. We know that the citizens of India, and some fundamental rights are available to others too. So the parliament cannot make laws that contradict which are against the fundamental rights. So to begin with, we have to understand that we have taken the parliamentary form of government, taking inspiration from Britain. However, Indian Parliament is not supreme. It is sovereign, but it is not supreme because of all these. Now, what does the term legislature means? We know that the government has three major organs. Legislature, it makes law; executive, which executes or puts into practice those laws; and judiciary, which sees how those laws are functioning. So in India, the union legislature, that is parliament, has two houses, means it is bicameral, means two houses. And the popular house, generally the popular house is one where the members of which are directly elected, that is the Lok Sabha, also known as the House of People, and the Rajya Sabha, that is the Council of States, since the Rajya Sabha has members who represent the states of India, and they are indirectly elected. So, firstly, we have to understand that what is the task of the legislature. It is not just lawmaking, it is also performing executive function. For example, it keeps a check on the government which is in power. It can pass a no confidence motion, it can pass an adjournment motion. So, it can take such decisions time and again. It also performs judicial functions. How? It can remove the members of the parliament, can remove the vice president, they can even remove the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. So judicial functions is also performed by the legislature. We know that parliament also makes the budget. So in short, these are so many roles that the union legislature performs. To begin with, part 5. So we have to know all the parts, just like part 3 deals with fundamental rights, part 4 deals with directive principles of state policy, part 5 of the constitution deals with the organization, how the two houses are organized, who are the members of the house, what is the procedure of their election, what is the power that they get. So under the constitution, when I say union parliament or union legislature or Indian parliament, it does not only mean Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, it also includes president. So if someone is inquiring about the Union Parliament, you cannot include only the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. You have to include the President. Why? Any bill that is passed and made into a law cannot be done without the assent or without the sign of the President. So a bill will become a law only after it receives the assent of the President. Now, Rajya Sabha is the upper house representing the states and the union territories, and Lok Sabha represents the people of India as a whole. Now, Rajya Sabha, there are 250 members, out of which 238 are representatives of state and union territories. So, 238 represents the state and UTs, and 12 are nominated by the president. Who are these 12? These are people having special knowledge in the field of art, literature, science and social science. So example of Sachin Tendulkar or Rekha being a part of the Rajya Sabha means that these are people who have excelled in their field of art. It can be in the field of sports, it can be in the field of science. So they are nominated by the president in the Rajya Sabha. Now, who are these representatives of state and union territories? Means what is the process of their election? The representatives of the state are elected by the elected members of state legislative assemblies. We know that there are 29 states in India and all the states have their own legislative assembly. So the elected members of those legislative assembly, they elect the members of the Rajya Sabha. And how does that happen? For a bigger state, more number of seats are allotted. For example, UP has 31 members. So UP, why does it have more members than Tripura? Because of its population. So the more the population, the greater number of seats is allotted in order to ensure due representation. Now, Lok Sabha maximum strength is fixed at 552, wherein 530 are representatives of the state. So, every state has a quota according to the population. For example, bigger states will have more representatives and smaller states will have lesser. And two members are from the Anglo-Indian community. They are nominated by the president. And what is unlike Rajya Sabha, where the process was indirect, the elected members of the state legislative assembly used to elect. Here, in case of Lok Sabha, the representatives of the state and union territories are directly elected by the people, and who elects them? Every Indian citizen above 18 years of age participates in this process. So you can understand that the popularity of Lok Sabha, in case of Rajya Sabha, common people are not involved. It is already those who are holding the office at the state legislative assembly, only they can elect the members of Rajya Sabha. But here, in case of Lok Sabha, every Indian citizen above 18 years of age can participate and elect the members of the. Now, the tenure for Rajya Sabha, it is a permanent body, means it cannot be dissolved. For example, if any emergency is coming or if any emergency is declared, in that case, Lok Sabha is dissolved. But Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. Only 1/3 of its members retire after every 2 years. So that retirement happens, but the house as a whole does not dissolve. Now, the normal term of the Lok Sabha is 5 years. It can be dissolved anytime by the president before the completion of its term. So before 5 years, if any emergency arises, the president can dissolve or end the term of the Lok Sabha. And who are the chairmen of the respective houses? The speaker and deputy speaker for Lok Sabha, and the chairman and deputy chairman for the Rajya Sabha. So in case of Lok Sabha, we have seen in Lok Sabha TV, there is a speaker who sits in the center and listens to the debate and controls the decorum of the house. Similarly, in case of Rajya Sabha, the same person, it is not referred to as speaker, it is known as chairman. And who is this chairman? The Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So the most important or the only function of the Vice President is as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Now, which are the areas where Rajya Sabha enjoys equal power with Lok Sabha? For example, any ordinary bill. It can originate or it can be passed from one house to the other. And if there is any disagreement, there can be a joint sitting. So that possibility is there. So in case of ordinary bill, both the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha enjoy equal power. The same is the case with constitution amendment bills. So if any major change has to be brought in the constitution, such bills have to be passed by both the houses of the parliament. It cannot be done by any one house. So both houses have to participate. So here also both have equal power. The same goes in case of the impeachment of president, then election and removal of the vice president. But it is in case of Rajya Sabha, in case of vice president, since vice president is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha can initiate or can propose the resolution, but both the houses together they remove the vice president. Then approval of emergency, or in case the parliament is not functioning, then if ordinance has to be passed, that in that case also both the houses have to be giving its consent for this. So there are many areas where Lok Sabha enjoys greater power. So you need to know this very carefully. First of all, money bill. Money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. So here the Lok Sabha has an upper hand. Now, whether a bill is an ordinary bill or a money bill, that is also done by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. So here also a speaker who belongs to the Lok Sabha can certify the bill as a money bill. Now, in case of money bill, Rajya Sabha can only make recommendations. It cannot make changes. It cannot reject the bill. It has to pass the bill with or without recommendation. It is considered to be passed by the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, in case of budget, also we see that it enjoys not equal power as compared to the Lok Sabha. Why? Rajya Sabha can only discuss the budget, but the demand for grants, they cannot be voted upon by the Rajya Sabha. It is only the Lok Sabha's responsibility, and the Rajya Sabha has very limited executive functions. It cannot remove the Council of Ministers by passing no confidence motion, as the Council of Ministers is only responsible to the Lok Sabha. So it is only the Lok Sabha that can pass the no confidence motion. However, it can only criticize the policies of the government but cannot take a major step like this. And to conclude with, the importance of the Rajya Sabha is that it is a deliberative body. It contains members who are having a lot of experience, who are very seasoned. So, few of the special powers that are given exclusively to the Rajya Sabha is that it can declare a subject included in the state list as a subject of national importance. So, if any circumstances arise, the members of the Rajya Sabha, if two-thirds of the members present and voting pass such a resolution, they can declare some a subject of the state list as a subject of national importance, and therefore they can initiate a debate or a discussion about that. And secondly, the Rajya Sabha has the power to create all India services. So we know that in case of all India services, we have the Indian Administrative Services, and the Rajya Sabha has the power to create such all India services by passing a resolution supported by two-thirds of the members present and voting. So this is it for today's lecture. We'll be discussing about other aspects of Indian government and politics in the other lecture.